Oh, we've got a very precariously placed setup right now. I hope you guys can all hear me. This should be a lot of fun. So, our house guest of the day is Gelsey Kane. Gelsey, thank you so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we really, really, really appreciate it. Okay, just making sure we're good here. And, yeah, let's get started. I see you guys all showing up in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. I wish I could interact with you guys right now, but I'm trying to not get distracted. So I'm going to go through all the notes and let's have a good time. Okay, it's killing me that this is like not centered. Also, before we start, like we tried to put this blanket here that I know you guys love so much. We're trying, we're trying. So anyway, when we left off yesterday, it seemed like a sure thing that Kevin would be staying, with Keisha going unanimously. Nobody wants to make waves and go against the majority. Cody has spoken. He has said that he wants Kevin to stay. But it wouldn't be Big Brother without Waffle Wednesday, right? So let's have some fun. All right, Keisha was talking to Day in the bathroom area, and by this point, Keisha has an idea that things are not going her way. It's not looking good for her. So Keisha is telling Day, you need to watch out for Kevin in the future because he's a floater. And Day is like, why do you think Kevin's the one saying? Come on, Day. Keisha says, it's a gut feeling. People have been avoiding me. Also, she didn't say this, but Keisha and Janelle have also been giving her a heads up, like whenever they hear, oh, this person is saying they're going to vote for Kevin to stay, this person is saying blah, 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 blah. So she has an idea. But Day claims that she hasn't heard anything. She says she will let Keisha know if she does. So then Day says, you really need to start focusing on solidifying stuff with people. You've got to keep checking in with them. Even the ones you feel you already have, you need to keep checking in with them. So Keisha says, well, everyone's being fake with me. It's so annoying. So she doesn't understand why people would want to get rid of her over Kevin. Like, what's wrong with her? Why did the girls want to vote out a girl? Day says, Kevin's a girl's guy, so that doesn't really matter. But Keisha and Kaysar were in the storage room, and Kaysar lets her know, Memphis told me that Cody said he wants Kevin to stay, which is true. Memphis told Kaysar that early yesterday morning, and Keisha's like, damn it! Kaysar's like, why don't you go talk to Cody? Because people are going to do what he wants. That's like what happens these days. Let him know you're a bigger target than Kevin would be, so you can take the heat off of him. You could be a target in front of him. And you can also tell him if you win HOH, you'll keep him safe. Which is like the opposite of what she's been campaigning, if you can call it campaigning, so far. Because before she was saying like, I'll go after Cody and his friends, but now that didn't work, so she's gonna be all like, I'll keep you safe. So he's also saying, don't say to him that anyone told you about the votes. Just tell him that people have been treating you differently, and it's just like a vibe that you're getting that you're not gonna be safe. Okay, so the sad thing was though that Keisha was like, yeah, it's true though, like people have been treating me differently. Oh, you hate to hear it. So then Keisha was talking to Memphis in the kitchen, and she's like, I know that there was a group of people talking last night about the vote. Because there was it was Cody, Memphis, and like a few other people at least all talking about it. And at first Memphis is like, what? I don't know what you're talking about, playing all dumb. And Keisha's like, I know you talked to Kaysar about it. And Memphis is like, yeah, I did. So he says, yeah, people were just trying to figure out what they're going to do, and they're all planning on voting together, whatevs. And Keisha's like, well, I don't know why they would keep him over me, because Kevin is such a floater. And she also tells Memphis, no matter what happens this week, you should probably consider playing for the safety suite next week, because if they're going after me now, there's a good chance that they're going to be going after you next, right? Okay, so then Janelle and Bailey are chatting in the lounge, and Janelle's like, so Kevin's staying? And Bailey confirms, like, yeah, that's what I'm hearing. She lists off some people. She's like, Christmas, Nicole, David, Enzo, Ian, that's 5, have all said that they're keeping him. And you only need 7 to stay, and there's like other people, but those are like confirmed votes. So then Janelle asks, do you think that Christmas is working with Enzo? Because she's like, okay, if they're both confirmed votes for Kevin to stay, like, is there something going on there? And Bailey's like, no. She doesn't think that Enzo and Christmas would mesh like that. And she's right, they're not working together, as far as I know anyway. And they're trying to figure out, like, who is Christmas actually solid with? So what we can take from this, it seems like Janelle is definitely starting to look at Christmas as a potential target, because we heard her talking about it in yesterday's spoiler, and I wasn't sure if it was just like something that she was saying to Danny to throw her off, but no, it seems like she actually is concerned about Christmas and considering her as a target in the future. So and then they talk about how Cody and Nicole F are definitely working together. That's like a no-brainer. And then Janelle brings out one of the lines of the week. So tell me again why it's important to do what the HOH wants. Oh, snap, right? Oh my god, call out these new schoolers. So Bailey's like, I don't know. I think it's a recent rule, like in the last few years. I don't think she actually meant like it's a rule in the rule book, but when she said it, I definitely like cringed. A rule? No. So then Janelle was like, well, why does it matter? Because the current HOH can't play HOH next week. Like, what are we so afraid of? We used to do the opposite of what the HOH wanted on my other seasons. Yes, and it was amazing, and we loved it. Okay, so then Bailey says, I guess it's just like a cop-out so that people don't have to take the blame for their votes, you know, which is pretty accurate. So then they're talking about how the girls are really strong this season. Woo! And they acknowledge if Keisha goes, there's going to be more guys than girls in the house. Yes. Okay. So Janelle's like, are we sure that we're making the true game decision here? She says, I don't want to screw this up. So Bailey says, no, I'm not sure that we are. But the problem is swaying the other people's votes, right? You got to get those votes to pull it off. And Janelle says, well, I think we could get enough votes to save Keisha. And Bailey says, I don't think so. I don't think that Davon would be on board. She says Kevin has already made a lot of genuine connections with people, and people really seem to make a lot of decisions based on emotions now. Again, new school. So Janelle says, all right, well, I hope we're not being played right now and taking out somebody who could potentially be a number for us. So they feel like Kevin would probably be on their side too, but Bailey admits, yeah, Keisha is probably better for us, but Kevin doesn't hurt. He's not like a con, but Keisha is more of a pro. You know what I'm saying? So then Janelle and Enzo have a game chat in the HOH bathroom. They're talking about the vote, and Enzo's like, yeah, the consensus is for Keisha to go. I believe he also was like, I don't give a crap. Bleh. So, classic Enzo. He says, oh yeah, I have it right here. He doesn't give an F which one of them goes. So, he's more concerned about the next HOH competition. He says he would be terrified if Ian wins HOH, because he has no idea what Ian would do. They also agree that Christmas, Memphis, and David are all wild cards as well. They don't know what they would do if they had power. So I guess now we know who Enzo was referring to in yesterday's spoiler when he said wild cards, because I didn't know who the frig he was talking about. But yeah, Christmas, Memphis, and David, and I guess Ian. So then, Enzo just starts spilling info. He tells Janelle, I like Bailey, I like Day. If either of them win HOH, we're both good. And then Enzo's talking about how they need to like build up some decoys in front of them so that neither of them will get nominated if somebody that they don't have sway over wins HOH. So he's like, okay, the decoys would be like wild cards, which we just mentioned, and also champs, Ian and Nicole. So he's like, if we could get them nominated instead of us, we could potentially get to like the final 8, and then we'll just see what happens. And Janelle's like, I love that. So then Janelle's asking Enzo about Cody because he's just like giving out the information. So Enzo spills that Cody was confused why Janelle played for the safety suite this week. Because, you know, Cody's claiming like, oh, I told Janelle like I wasn't going to put her up, blah, blah, blah. Really? Because according to her, like, she asked you if she was safe and you didn't say that she was. So, yeah. But, yeah, Janelle says, he never told me that I was safe. So, of course I'm going to play. I'm like, the best bee in here. She didn't say that, but... Then Janelle asks Enzo about Tyler, and Enzo's like, I got him. We're good if he wins HOH. Cool. Okay, so then this next thing is freaking wild. Like 2 syllables, wild. I was not expecting this to happen, but a little later, Danny was crying in the photo bedroom because people told her she's mean. Are they wrong? Like, she's kind of mean. So Janelle was in there comforting her, and she's like, I think you're funny as hell. Like, people just don't understand your sense of humor. And Danny says, yeah, they told me, like people told me like 5 different times today that I'm mean. And she's like, I think they're joking, but it's too much. Are they joking? I don't know about that. So, she says she, you know, now that she's a mom, she just doesn't want her daughter to think she's mean. She doesn't want to be like that. She was also talking about how she was, like, really mean when she was younger, and she's really worked on herself and tried to not be mean anymore. She says, we all joke around and pick on each other, so why are they saying that I'm mean? I think Danny's kind of mean. I don't know. What do you guys think? So, meanwhile... Day and Christmas are having a game chat in the bathroom area, and this is going to be a very important conversation. Okay, they're talking about the vote, and I just want to set this up too. That Day was like in the shower. I can't remember if the shower was actually on. No, I think she was just getting dressed at the time, and Christmas was talking to her while she was in there. So Day is saying, you know, I love Keisha, and I really feel like she deserves to be here. I feel like she's trustworthy. And then they're talking about how the nominees, they're just like really even this week. Like neither of them is a clearer big threat, so it's really hard to decide which one of them should be going. So, you know, even looking at their first seasons, they both played well. They both made it really far. It's hard to decide which one is more dangerous or which one would be better to work with. So Day says, no matter what, I don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. Okay, definitely trying to avoid that. Don't want to be on the wrong side of the boat. So she's also saying, I don't want this to be a slippery slope. Say we get rid of a girl this week, and then it's just one girl after another getting taken out. So she says Keisha is her girl on a personal level. She doesn't want to see her go. If the house is keeping Kevin, she doesn't want to be on the wrong side. But she's also like, if the votes are there, though, you know, she's saying she'd be down to keep Keisha. What is Day doing? What is this? It seems like she's been a lock for Kevin to stay, and now all of a sudden she's like, Keisha? So I don't know what's going on here, but then, and also I'm not sure if she's just saying this because she doesn't want to like reveal her true plans or what, but like, let me tell you, it's gonna stir up some stuff. Okay, so then Keisha talks to Cody in the key bedroom, and this conversation went on for quite a while, and it did not do much. So Keisha says, all right, Cody, people are going to be coming to you and asking you what you want because you're the HOH. You know, they want to know what you want to happen. Ma'am, I love Keisha, but ma'am, it is Wednesday night. it is Wednesday night, and people have already come and gone. Like, everybody's come through and figured out what Cody wants by this point. Like, that's not what's going on here. So she says, I'm not a bullshitter. I'm not going to be going after you for putting me up on the block. She says, I think more people would want to target me than Kevin if I stay in the house. And Kevin, you know, he's very easily going to just, like, slide under the radar. He didn't go up on the block until the end of his first season. So Keisha's also like, I don't backdoor, I won't lie to your face. And she says, I don't take this nomination personally. I know you were in a tough spot being the first HOH of the season, and I know it was difficult for you to settle on 2 nominees. I know that it wasn't like a personal thing. So she says, I will have your back. Okay, so she's like, if you tell people that you want me to stay, I know that holds a lot of weight, and I know that I will owe you. So Cody's like, I just don't want to be the one telling people how to vote. You know, he doesn't want it to come down to what he says, but like that's kind of what's happening because people don't want to make up their own decisions at this point anyway. So it just seems like too little too late from Keisha, which is unfortunate, but I'm curious what would have happened if she had talked to Cody about this earlier in the week and if she actually campaigned earlier in the week. I don't know. Things could be different, but we still got a wild ride ahead of us. So a little later, Nicole F. and Cody check in the key bedroom, and Cody is kind of wondering, is there a girls' alliance forming? What is going on here? And Nicole F. says, if there is, I'm not part of it. Nicole also brought up some concerns about Danny. She's not feeling like 100% good with her right now. She says that Danny told her that Janelle didn't trust her. But after Nicole was like, oh, well then I want Janelle out, Danny changed her story and started saying, Janelle does trust you. So Nicole's like, she doesn't want me to want her out. She thinks that's really fishy, and she's suspecting, I guess, Danny and Janelle are closer than I thought. What the hell is this? So then, I mean, we've seen, Cody's been saying all week that he also suspects that Danny is working closer with Janelle than she's been letting on. So he's been really careful with what he's been saying around Danny. He bullshits her about how he really feels about Janelle. He's always telling Danny, like, oh yeah, Janelle is like cool, like I want to get to know her better and like maybe work with her or something. But truthfully, he wants Janelle out because hello, she's such a huge threat. So then they were talking about how they trust Christmas more than they trust Janelle. They are in that like Memphis alliance with Christmas. It was called the Unusual Suspects, but I'm pretty sure Big Brother was like, you can't use that name because that's the name of a movie, I guess. So I haven't seen it, but I believe Memphis renamed the group the Closers. Pretty sure. Anyway, Cody then goes to the photo bedroom where Danny is, and Danny tells him, you need to, or she doesn't say you need to, but she says like, stop calling me mean because it hurts my feelings. And Cody says, okay, I will, like, I didn't mean to upset you or whatever. But I gotta say to Danny, stop being mean because it hurts people's feelings. Right? Okay, so then Nicole joins them. Tyler joins a few minutes later. And they all agree, like, they still plan on voting out Keisha. So then Nicole brings up an interesting point. She's like, Kevin is promising safety to everyone. So how is that going to work? Like, if it's a unanimous vote for him to stay, who's he going to put up if he wins HOH? You know, it's kind of a flawed thing. So they're like, I don't know. I was thinking about that too. So then they were talking about how he kind of like floated through his first season. He might not win any competitions anyway. So that might be BS. He might not be in a position to keep any of them safe. So then, of course, Danny's got to warn Tyler and Cody like she usually does that people think that they're working together, so they need to be careful. And Cody's asking, like, who's saying that? You know, you're always saying that people are saying that, but who is saying it? So she doesn't want to, like, drop names. I was like, super awkward. So she says, like, all the girls have said that. Okay, so this definitely weirded Cody out. He was talking about it later. I think he was talking to Memphis about it. Yeah, he finds it weird that Danny was not sharing those names with him. So anyway, after a while, Janelle joins them and she drops a bomb. Okay, they were speculating if anyone's going to be coming back after they've been evicted. You know, is it going to be pre-jury? Is it going to be post-jury? Like, what's the deal? Is there going to be nothing? So Janelle says, oh, it's going to be pre-jury. She's got all the info. She says if they're paying us our guarantee, they're not going to want to just let us go. So she says she asked production, say she's evicted like week 1 or week 2, is she going to be going home to her family right away? And they told her no, not until mid-September. So I guess somebody's going to be coming back pre-jury. And it makes sense because, I mean, from what we've heard, these house guests are being paid like $40,000 base pay just to be there, even if they're like the first one out. So they're not just gonna like let them go home. They're gonna keep them around for a few weeks and have them compete to come back in. So should be interesting. But let's rewind a few minutes before Janelle came into the room. Little Unicole walked in when Cody, Danny, Tyler, and Nicole F were all talking. So she goes up to the have-not room and she tells Kevin all about it. She says, oh, looked like there was a little alliance meeting going on. She said she walked in there. I think she was getting like Danny's Bible or something to borrow. But she walked in there and she said they looked guilty as hell. They were all like into their game chat. They didn't even realize that I was there at first. So they're wondering if Janelle is trying to flip the vote so that Keisha will stay, and that group was like discussing it and deciding if they were going to do it or not. Not what was happening, but sure. So Kevin says that Day has been lying to Keisha's people because she's been telling them that she will vote to keep Keisha. Why though? Like, why is she doing that at this point? I could see earlier in the week, but like still? And I don't know if she's necessarily lying to them. It kind of seems like she does want Keisha to stay. So I don't know what's going on here. I'm also wondering now, this thought popped into my head. She knows that Keisha is really, really well liked on the outside by all the fans. And she knows that preseason, people were saying like, oh, I want like Day and Keisha to work together. So I'm wondering if this is like some sort of attempt to like satisfy the viewers, because it looks like she's like putting in the work to potentially keep Keisha around, even if she is wanting to keep Kevin. Like, I'm not really sure 100% what Day's motives are here, but it's definitely interesting. There are a lot of different possibilities. So I'd love to hear some DRs from her about this. But anyway, Kevin says Day's got to be careful because those people like Janelle and Keisha and Memphis, they're going to be pissed at her when she still votes for me to stay and not Keisha. So he says that could end up splitting the whole entire house, which, I mean, that would be a lot of fun. So yeah, do it. Okay, so then during this conversation, Kevin was getting all dressed up in his drag look. His drag persona is Anita Vito. I love it. It's a lot of fun. I mean, he's going all out. He's like putting on a wig. He's not doing a full, like, he's not painting his face. He's not like beating it for the gods or whatever. But he did put on, I think he put on like lipstick. And he also put in some of the hip and butt padding, which is fun. So then he was hanging out with Unicole and Day in his drag look in the have not room. And it was a lot of fun to watch. And then he was thinking about possibly campaigning in the drag look. But Nicole and Day were like, I don't know if that's a good idea. Because Day brought up Joey. I don't know if you guys remember Joey with the blue hair from season 16. She was the first one out that season. And when she was nominated, she dressed up in drag like a guy to campaign, and people just like couldn't handle it because they're basic. So they're like, I don't know if it's a good idea for you to do this right now. Maybe just like save it for later, like after you're not on the block anymore. So yeah, it was just fun to see Kevin like letting loose a little bit because I feel like he's been really bogged down all week, being up on the block. All right, so then Kevin is asking Day, what are you gonna say to Keisha about your vote? Like, are you gonna tell her at some point that you're not voting to keep her? And Day's like, yeah, I'm gonna tell her right before that we couldn't get enough votes and that I don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. She doesn't want to tell her too early because she doesn't want to give like Janelle, who's been campaigning for Keisha, the chance to flip the vote. All right, so then Unicole also, I just want to mention Unicole also told Day about walking in on that group of 4, and just a reminder that's Nicole F, Danny, Cody, and Tyler, and she thinks that that's like the core of an alliance, and then they have like their side people. She's close. I mean, she is close because there is an alliance called the Core 4, and it's Nicole F, Danny, Cody, and Enzo. So just swap out Tyler for Enzo, and you got an alliance there. But to be fair, like the 4 that she walked in on are all also in another alliance, the Memphis one, the Closers. So I hope she remembers that. Okay, so then later, Kevin checks in with Cody in the lounge. And Cody is saying, you know, I think you're going to be good. I don't think you have to worry about this vote. And he's been telling people that he wants Kevin to stay. So he's been holding up his end of the deal. And Kevin's like, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I want to pay you back. And he tells Cody, if I win HOH, I'm not going to nominate you. I'm not going to backdoor you. So you don't have to worry about me. And he also says, one step further, if I'm not the HOH, I could play the safety suite competition and use my +1 on you. So Cody's like, I don't know. He's a little bit nervous that if he is Kevin's +1, that's going to put a target on them because people are going to think that they're a pair. So Cody says we'd have to make sure that people understand that this was like part of a one-time deal. And we have to make sure that it wouldn't be putting a target on us. Okay. So then Janelle and Day discuss the votes in the storage room. And I just want to mention, during this conversation, Janelle is holding her star costume in front of her. Not wearing it, but holding it in front of her. I guess that counts. I don't know. You know, Janelle has been very lax about wearing that costume this week. So Janelle asks Day, what's up with the votes? What's going on? What are you hearing? They've both been hearing that both Keisha and Kevin have the votes to stay. So, like, what's the truth? What's going on here? And Day says it is split down the middle right now, which is not really true, I feel like. I don't know. But Janelle's like, okay, well, what do you want to do? So Day says she's down to keep Keisha. What is going on here? What does she really want? So they agree. They do not want to stick out. Don't want to be that sore thumb. And they agree, we're effed if the votes aren't actually there for Keisha to stay and we're on the wrong side of the vote. Like, that's going to look really bad on us. So they start counting the votes. Janelle's like, okay, me, you, Bailey, Kaser, Memphis, Unicole? No way. No way is Unicole going to vote for Keisha to stay over Kevin. She's got a final 2 deal with Kevin. So Janelle seems to be under the impression that it's going to happen, though, because Unicole has kind of fibbed and told Keisha, like, yeah, if you could get the votes. So Janelle says they would just need 1 more. So then they're going through the votes again, and Janelle remembers, whoa, I forgot somebody. She says Christmas, believe it or not, is a possibility. She actually approached Janelle about keeping Keisha, which is true. Actually, days ago, Christmas was saying, like, I kind of think we should keep Keisha around because she's not going to be as good in competitions as Kevin. So why are we getting rid of her? It doesn't make sense. And Cody was like, no. But it's coming up again. So let's see. Keisha campaigned to Christmas last night. And then Christmas went and talked to Janelle about it. And now Janelle is telling Davon about it. And Christmas seemed interested in actually, like, following through on this. What? So meanwhile, Christmas was talking to Cody in the comic bedroom, and she's saying, we should keep Keisha. She says she will be easier to beat in competitions. And again, Christmas has been saying this for days. And Christmas says that Kevin spilled stuff that she said to Janelle. What? So she's not very happy with him right now. She doesn't feel like she can trust him. So, like, why keep him around? She says, yeah, Kevin will be grateful if we vote for him to stay, but is he really going to work with us? So Cody is trying to be like, Christmas, no. He is trying to convince her that Kevin should be the one staying. Because Janelle has Keisha. Right? I mean, it is true. Like, Keisha's going to be loyal to Janelle. Especially with all the work Janelle's been putting in. So then Janelle checks in with Bailey. And she's like, all right, well, we know that Cody wants Kevin to stay. So why are we doing Cody's dirty work? Why? It doesn't make sense. So Bailey is really surprised when Janelle says that Day said that she wants Keisha to stay. What? So she also doesn't believe that Unicole would be on board. She's not. But Bailey says, I've got to talk to Day. I got to get the info on this. I got to talk to Day. Meanwhile, Day is up in the HOH room with Cody, spilling about Janelle. What? She says Janelle is scrambling right now. She's trying to get votes together for Keisha, and they agree she is the ringleader of Keisha's campaign because Cody brings up a conversation that he had with Kaser earlier when Kaser was basically like, okay, the votes are not there for Keisha. It looks like Kevin is staying, and that's fine. So he's like, it's Janelle. Janelle is the one stirring all this up. So then Day, what is going on here? Day also says that Janelle wants to be the last girl standing. What? She is literally trying to keep the girl that's on the block this week. What? So Day says that she wants to work with Danny, which is just crazy to me because if I was going to say either Danny or Janelle want to be the last girl standing, it would be Danny. She basically wanted to set up a brigade type alliance with her as like the only girl. So she talked, Day says that she talked with Enzo earlier about pulling Danny into the alliance of 4 because they want to kind of expand a little bit. She doesn't even realize that Cody and Enzo are in a separate 4-person alliance with Danny already and Nicole F. So yeah, they're planning on bringing Danny into their 4 and making it a 5. Damn. Okay, so then Bailey joins them after a while. And they all agree that Janelle is pushing way too hard right now. And Day is acting like she wasn't saying she's on board to keep Keisha. But she was to like multiple people. What? Okay, so then Janelle and Christmas are comparing notes. They're trying to figure out when things flip. Because Janelle's like, it's so weird. I've been hearing over and over again that Kevin is going to be safe this week. And then all of a sudden, I'm now hearing that Keisha's staying. So, like, what happened here? So Janelle says, when she talked to Davon, Day was like, I will keep Keisha if the votes are there. And Christmas is like, really? Because that's weird. Because when I talked to Day, Day was really shocked. And she, wait, hold on a second. I want to get this right. She was really shocked. And she told me that she thought we were keeping Keisha, not Kevin. So something is not adding up here. And I'm wondering is this going to come back to bite Day? Because Day is the one that was stirring stuff up here. I'm pretty sure Janelle was just going to, like, let it lie. But then when she heard that there was the potential for Keisha to have enough votes to stay, she started really working and trying to get those votes again. Oh my god. So then Bailey and Cody were chatting alone in the HOH room. And Bailey's like, I love Janelle, don't get me wrong, but she's doing a lot right now. She brings up that Day said earlier that she does not trust Janelle. And Cody's like, well, we all know that Day has really good reads. She nailed it in season 17. She nailed it in season 18. Like, she always knows what's going on. She's got the good reads. She doesn't know it in 22. Day took her Goodreads account and she closed it. So, yeah, they don't realize Day does not have great reads this season. I don't know what's going on. But Bailey says that she feels like Janelle is trying to play her. Maybe not even on purpose, but she feels played right now. She doesn't believe that Day said that she would keep Keisha if the votes were there. But she said it! I feel like I'm a Real Housewives right now. She said it! It's crazy. But why would Bailey believe Janelle over Day, right? So I'm really curious if Day and Bailey are going to talk about this and Day's going to be truthful or not. I don't know. So Bailey also shares how, oh, this is just messed up. Bailey shares how when she was talking to Janelle earlier, Janelle was like, why do people want to do what the HOH wants, like with their votes? And Bailey says, it's just a rule. It's not a rule. It's not a rule, guys. Come on. It's not a rule. Okay, so then late last night, Christmas and Bailey were chatting in the comic bedroom. And Christmas is like, I think Janelle was testing us. She was trying to see what information would come back to her. She's trying to see who she can trust. No, there was literally like misinformation spread here, and Day lied. But also, Christmas says now Day knows that I told Janelle about her conversation, so that kind of like F's me up a little bit. Okay, so Christmas says Janelle is an effing mastermind. I mean, yeah. Alright, but that's not what was happening here. So then, this morning, I just gotta say, it's kind of funny that all this shit happened last night, and Keisha missed pretty much all of it. Like, I think she was asleep when this stuff was happening. Wild. So, Keisha feels like she's going. Yeah. And Janelle and Keisha were talking. They're trying to figure out what the hell happened last night. Why did it seem like it flipped from Kevin definitely staying to all of a sudden, like, Keisha's possibly staying? So, excuse me. She wonders, like, is it possible that Day was setting us up to be on the wrong side of the vote? Or are they wondering maybe was she just misinformed? Like, what's going on here? So, yeah, I honestly don't know what Day's motivation was here. I'm super, super curious. But then they're talking about the upcoming HOH competition. If either of them were to win, they're not really sure who they would target. They haven't really picked anybody out yet specifically. So they're wondering, do we go after Cody and Tyler? Or do we align with them and take out floaters? So Kaser thinks that they would be safer if they kept around other big targets like Cody and Tyler and just take out floaters. Janelle is not like super into this. Janelle says that's what we did on the first season of All Stars. You know, we worked with like Dr. Will and Lily, and you know, we worked with big targets. And we took out floaters and we didn't win. So Kaser's like, yeah, but Cody and Tyler are not Dr. Will. Ouch. Okay, I see you guys are asking how old I am. I just caught my eye. I'm 29. Okay, but anyway, Janelle this morning was still kind of poking around, still campaigning a bit for Keisha because she wasn't really sure like what exactly was up at this point. So Keisha, on the other hand, not so much. She was not really campaigning. So then Janelle is talking to Day and Danny, and she's asking them, what's up with this vote? Like, what is going on? So Danny says, as far as I know, everybody's keeping Kevin. Like, I haven't really heard anyone say that they're keeping Keisha. So Janelle's like, yeah, that's what I thought until Christmas came to me last night. What was that all about? So Janelle says, Christmas told me that Day said Keisha is potentially staying. So Day clarifies she told Christmas that she would vote for Keisha to stay if she has the other votes. She didn't say like Keisha is staying. So this is so messy, you guys. But they all agree they should warn Keisha ahead of time because they don't want to see her get blindsided. That's not like something that needs to be happening. So then Danny and Day chat after this conversation, and Danny's asking, do you believe Janelle? Do you think that she's being honest about Christmas coming to her and saying that? And Day says, yeah, I do believe Janelle. I think that's possible. Whoa. So now is the blame going to be on Christmas? Like, what is going on here? Okay, so Christmas may be getting the blame for like Day being little sneaky boots here. So Day let Keisha know the votes are not there, so she cannot vote for her to stay. And Keisha's like, okay, thank you for telling me. I mean, she pretty much knew already, right? She had a feeling. And dang, Day is responsible for that shitstorm. Is anyone gonna figure it out? I don't know. But tonight is eviction night, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to be live. I believe they're recording it ahead of time, but it should still be a lot of fun. And Keisha is going, unless something insane happens right before the show, and it's probably going to be unanimous because nobody wants to be that sore thumb sticking out. Let me know who you guys are rooting for this HOH competition. I mean, I would love to see Janelle or Keisha win, right? That'd be a lot of fun. I just think that would be the most interesting option at this point. But I want to thank all of you guys so much for watching, for hanging out. I'm sorry I didn't really get to chat, but this update would have been like 5 million hours long, and I feel really bad about that. Nobody's got time for that, right? So I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I will see you tonight in the recap. Yay! Should be fun, and I'll be back with another spoiler tomorrow. And also, I just wanted to say we are planning on doing puppet shows because a lot of you guys have been asking, and we're planning on putting up the first one this weekend. So, hope y'all enjoy it. See you later, and until next time, much love.